In these four problems, you're solving the equations for x. So we can divide both sides by the coefficient on the x. And we get x equals, we're going to divide negative 40.32 by 22.4. You can use a calculator for this lesson, and you're going to get negative 1.8. In your book, you see this problem, and it asks us to reflect on the two different methods for solving this problem. So I'm going to show you in problem 1 a couple of the different methods that we can use to solve a problem like this, and then you can reflect on them in question 1. So the first method is to use the distributive property at the very beginning. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 2 would be negative 6. Then we distribute this one. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. Positive 7 times x is positive 7x. And positive 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Then we will combine our like terms. So 3x minus 4x, that's negative 1x, plus 7x. Negative 1 plus 7 is 6x. Negative 6 plus 8 would give us positive 2. Positive 2 plus negative 14 is negative 12. Move the 12 to the other side by flipping it from a negative to a positive. And that gives us 6x equals 60. So then we can divide both sides by 6. And we get x equals 10. So in that first method, we distributed first, then combined our like terms. In this one, we're going to kind of do it the opposite way. We can think of these all as like terms because these sets of parentheses are identical. So I have 3 sets. Minus 4 sets would give me negative 1 set, plus 7 would give me 6 sets of x minus 2. Now the reason that this works is because they are all perfectly identical to each other. So instead of combining our like terms second, we did it first, and instead of distributing first, we're going to do that part second. But you can see that the problem is going to have the same solution. 48 plus 12 is 60. Divide both sides by 6. And again, we get x equals 10. So take a minute to reflect on those two strategies that we used to solve that problem. What did we do differently? What approach did you like better? How might you approach solving this problem? The next task that we have is we are going to arrange 9 puzzle pieces, which can be found in your book for lesson 15, so that they meet the following requirements. When you put them together, the pieces form a 3 by 3 square, and the equations on the side of each square match the solution to the adjacent square. Use the space provided to record your work. So you're going to show you solving the equations in your workbook under problem 2. And then on the following pages, you'll find the equation square puzzle to be cut out and rearranged. I gave my students the first piece for the center as a hint to get them started. So I used M as my center piece. And on this card, I have 2 equations. I'm going to start with this top one. So x plus 1 plus x plus 2 plus x plus 3 equals 6. And we're going to solve that equation to begin. Here I can combine my like terms. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x pieces. And I have 1, 2, 3 number pieces to combine. So 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6. And that still all equals 6. My variable is over here on my left, so I'm going to move the numbers over towards the right. 4x equals, well, 6 minus 6 is 0. Then we will divide both sides by 4. 0 divided by 4 is 0. So I'm looking for the card that has a 0 on it. So that is card J. And we are going to put J, the solution 0, touching the equation we just solved. Now I can solve the other equation on this card M to help me find out what goes on the bottom row. So I have 1/2 times 6x minus 8 equals 15.5. Half of 6x is 3x. Half of negative 8 is negative 4. Add 4 to both sides. This is gone. I still have 3x on the left. 15.5 plus 4 is 19.5. Divide both sides by 3. And we get x equals 6.5. So we're looking through our cards for a 6.5 as a solution. This one has 6.5. That's another way we can represent 6.5. So I'm going to make the 6.5 touch the equation we just solved. Now I have my top, middle, and bottom row, and I can work on both sides to figure out what goes next to them. Remember, this is the middle column. So now I'm going to work with this equation up here. I have negative 16 equals 5/6x plus 9. I like to get rid of fractions by fraction busting, especially because 5/6 is going to be a repeating decimal. So I multiply the whole equation by the denominator. So negative 16 times 6 is negative 96. 5/6 times 6 is going to be 5, but there's that x there. And then 6 times 9 is 54. I can subtract the 54 from both sides to get the variable all by itself. 54 and negative 54 make 0. Negative 96 and negative 54 add up to make negative 150. Then we can divide both sides by 5, and we get x equals negative 30. And that one's going to touch this equation here. So 77 and 14.5, 47 and 12.4, negative 115 and 20, and 120. Oh, negative 33, but not negative 30. Oh, this is negative 5/6. So it should be positive 30, which is card A. Okay. Now we can solve this one to figure out what goes in the box here. Somewhere along those lines my video got paused, so just to recap on it in case it got skipped. This equation came out to 5. We distributed the negative 3 and then the 8. We combined our like terms. We added the 5 to both sides. We divided both sides by 5 and we got x equals 5. Back on this problem here, I had a negative 5 instead of a positive 5, so it came out to positive 30. Now we are going to solve this equation to figure out what goes in this box. So I had negative 4.5 plus 0.3x equals 18 3/5. Since I have a decimal here, I'm going to change these to decimals as well. 4.5 is the same as 4.5. 3/5, if we double the top and the bottom, that would give us 6/10. So this is 18.6. I can add 4.5 to both sides. I still have 0.3x over here on the left. That's going to give me 23.1. Divide both sides by 0.3. And that is 77. Card E. Now I have my left row, my center row, so I don't need to continue working this way because I know this is my center row. I'm going to solve the equations on this side to fill in the right row. So I have 2.25 times x minus 10 equals 5.4. Distribute that. Anything times 10 moves that decimal to the right one spot. Add the 22.5 to both sides. I'm missing that little x there. 2.25x equals 27.9. Divide by 2.25. And that is 12.4. Alright, let's solve this equation down here. I have 14 equals negative 1/5 x minus 9. I'm going to change this one to a decimal. 1 divided by 5 is 0.2. Add 9 to both sides. 14 plus 9 is 23. Divide by negative 0.2. And that is negative 115. Okay, I do need to mention that card F has a typo in the student edition. So I'm going to show you this card here. As of right now in the workbook, the student's workbook says 4.5 here, which will give you an incorrect solution. It should say 5.4. That may get corrected in the future, but currently my students have an issue with this card. Specifically, there says 4.5 instead of 5.4. It needs to say 5.4 for you to get the correct answer. Alright, so we're going to solve that equation. I have x plus 3.2 plus x plus 5.4 minus 0.6 equals 44. Alright, so I'm going to add x plus x plus x is 3x. 3.2 plus 5.4 is 8.6. Minus 0.6 is 8. Subtract 8 from both sides. I still have 3x on the left. 44 minus 8 is 36. Divide both sides by 3, and we get x equals 12. So the 12 should go here. And we have our puzzle finished. It should have A, J, S, V, M, W, E, G, F. And that's the end of lesson 15. You can check back shortly for lesson 16.